I want to talk about what a union is, what they do, why we need them, really kind of what they are. So, in the simplest terms, a union is an organization and it's formed by the workers, and as workers who join together and use their strength to have a voice in their workplace. And I really want to emphasize that point that the union is comprised of workers. So, in other words, workers are the union. The first kind of misconception I want to discuss is this idea that a union is a third party organization. A lot of people think that you have the workers, you have the employer, and then you have the union. And it's a really common anti union talking point is people will say, well, the employer should be able to deal with the workers directly. They shouldn't have to deal with a union. But the reason that makes no sense is because the workers are the union. Okay, there's no third party. It's still workers and employer. The workers are just choosing to be work together as a collective voice. Um, as a result of this, like I know a lot of union members think that they're clients of a union and that the union does work on their behalf. But this is not so. Unionization, it's not something that happens to you. It's something that you do. You actively participate in. And therefore, a union is only as strong as its members. Um, it's important that we embrace that responsibility of working together to strengthen our union. The next thing that I want to talk about is the concept of power. And it's not just a concept that's present in Lord of the Rings and fantasy. Power actually exists all around us. From a sociology perspective, power is the capacity to influence, lead, dominate, or otherwise have an impact on the life and actions of others in society. So, most importantly, power is present in our workplace. There is power dynamics between employers and employees, business class, ruling class, working class. There's always power dynamics at play. And this is because the employers control the means of production. Or in our case as paramedics, they control the EMS system, right? And this is what gives them an inherent amount of power over us, the workers. And because they have this power, the employer can do whatever they want as long as it's not against the law, right? They can tell you what time to show up to work. They tell you what to wear. They can change job descriptions. They can cut wages as they see fit. They make decisions about hiring and firing. They really have free reign to do whatever they want as long as they're not breaking the law. And historically, this has been really unfair to workers and has resulted in a lot of abuse and exploitation. And for this reason, individual workers will never be as powerful as the employer. And the only way that workers can gain power in the workplace is through unionization. Because it's really easy for a single worker to be overpowered by an employer, but it's a lot harder for that employer to overpower the whole workforce. And the analogy that gets used quite often is if you think about dried spaghetti, it's really easy to take one strand of dried spaghetti and break it. But if you take a whole handful of dried spaghetti, it's a lot harder to break. And that analogy kind of stands up in the terms of the workers and when they take on the employer. Um, so always remember this concept that as workers, we need power to get what we want. We will never receive anything from the employer out of kindness and compassion. We have to demand it collectively, and sometimes it can take a while. But the only way that workers can truly make gains in the workplace is through power, gaining it and using it to get what we want. You can even see this at the highest level of professional sports. So, for example, Connor McDavid, the best hockey player in the world, he's still part of a union called the NHL Players Association. And that's because Connor McDavid doesn't control the means of production. He's just a hockey player. The billionaire business owners in the NHL control the means of production. They're the ones who control the hockey related revenues. And so players like Connor McDavid, despite being the best hockey players in the world, had to form a union to gain power and to be able to take on these billionaire NHL team owners to get their fair share of hockey related revenue, among other protections. And that's part of the reason why professional athletes get paid so much, because they band together and they demand it. So, what has the power of unions accomplished? Well, if we go all the way back to the start of the Industrial Revolution, when people were really starting to work for the man, or the formation of the working class, we've come a really long way since then. It wasn't uncommon, just a couple hundred years ago, Workers were working 18-hour days. There was no health and safety standards. Child labor was rampant. No minimum wage, no vacation, no holidays. And the reason all of this changed, like I mentioned before, it's not because of the kindness and compassion of the employers where they had a change of heart. It's because the Industrial Revolution saw the start of the labor movement, the formation of unions, and giving power to the workers. And with that power, they were able to make tons of gains that we enjoy today. And this wasn't easy for them. There's actually a lot of people who were even killed fighting for a lot of the things that we enjoy as the working class today. Things such as statutory holidays, overtime pay, workplace health and safety, minimum wage, weekends, paid vacation, employment insurance, health benefits, and pensions are just a few of the things that the power of unions has gotten the working class by combating the inherent power that employers have. And I'm going to keep emphasizing this point. None of this would be possible without power. And it's the power that the workers have that got us these gains. And on top of that, the power extends even beyond the workplace. Unions have used their power historically to play vital roles in lobbying government to pass legislation that protects workers' rights and improves the quality of life for the working class. And this type of influence is only possible by exercising large amounts of power. Modern day unions continue to fight to not only protect the gains that we have made, but also to obtain gains in the favor of workers, more gains. As paramedics in our union, we enjoy vacation time, personal days, double time OT, $3,000 per year for psychologist services, defined benefit pension plans, just to name a few of the things that we get, plus a whole bunch of other benefits. And again, I'm going to reiterate, this was all possible because of the power that we had at the bargaining table through collective bargaining, and not because AHS wanted to give it to us out of the kindness of their hearts. Furthermore, our union, HSAA, has successfully lobbied the government for changes to legislation that enhance workers' compensation and benefits for paramedics. So the 2 points that I really want you to take home from this video, and hopefully you found it informative, is that workers are the union. We are the union. Don't think of the union as being separate from us, as an entity that represents us, that an entity that we pay membership to in order to belong to. We are the union, and we need to act like we're the union. We need to be willing to put in the work to make our union successful. An analogy that I would use is think about a hockey team who's just sitting in the stands and wondering why they can't win hockey games, right? Because they have to participate to win the games. And that's how unionization works. The workers need to be active and involved to exercise their power, to gain power, and to exercise that power in order to get what we want. And that's the second point that I really want you to take home, is everything is about power, right? Power dynamics exist in our workplace between the employer and the workers. And as workers, we constantly need to be working to gain power through our solidarity. And then we have to work together to use that power to make gains in our own best interest, right? Thank you for watching. I'm hoping to make some more videos, and hopefully you learned something. I'll see you guys out there. Stay safe.